Cool, man. We're rolling.
All right.
Trent, thanks for being here.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for inviting me.
Can you tell me about yourself and what Battle Worn Legacy is and what you guys are doing?
Yeah. So, well, first of all, I was born and raised in Georgia. I mean, so from the southeast, and yeah, I mean, grew up in Cobb County, and right there in the Peach State, and ended up, going through life, just playing baseball was my biggest sport
We're
there,
already
and
we're already going to be great friends
oh
now.
yeah,
Yeah.
is that what you do, or what you
Yeah.
are you
I
still?
still play in a men's league
Do
here.
you really?
Yeah.
Like I would break a hip now. Like I would absolutely like fall down and just be out of commission for like 3 months. So a little bit too
I'll be
old.
trying to recruit you for the next
Softball, men's softball. Have you done that before?
a few times, but because I'm still doing the hard ball, it's so
Yeah.
hard to switch
Oh, is
with
it?
the hitting just with the arc
Yeah.
versus the hard ball.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a tough adjustment because I just I want to play hardball until I got to hang it up.
So how old are you?
34.
34. So
Yeah.
you're still young, man. My father always said, wait till you turn 40. And then I was like, yeah, whatever, man. I'm not going to be like you. And I turned 40 and it's like you get up out of bed and everything hurts. Everything. So to add something like as much as I love baseball and as much as I played baseball, it's still something that I feel like, man, I would like, for example, I went out with my 12-year-old son just to go kick the ball around and throw it and hit it. And dude, the next day it was like my shoulder, my back, everything just like was lit up. So, no, I love the sport. Atlanta Braves fan. I love those guys. I was spending some time with some of the old school guys, Chipper Jones,
Andrew
Andrew
Jones, Greg
Jones.
Maddux,
Yeah, man.
Tom Glavine.
Tom Glavine, Pendleton was one. I used to know them all. Olson, catcher.
Okay.
You remember him?
Vaguely.
Vaguely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all those guys, man. So I love baseball, and ironically, all my kids love soccer.
Okay.
So, and that was like the anti to baseball, right? So when I was growing up, but I kind of give them the freedom to choose what sport they want to play. But we took it seriously, man. I was playing more games and practicing more than the Atlanta Braves. So
Mhm.
we only got like 2 weeks off a year, and I did that all the way up to about 16, 17 years old. So I was into it. I was really into it, and so broke my hip and tore my sciatica and hamstring, and so that was it.
Damn.
Yeah, yeah, it was a pretty bad injury, and so put me in the wheelchair for about 3 months before I went on to crutches, and so it took me about a year to recover from that. And
Was that playing ball or that was?
no, I was playing ball.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. I swung for the fences, and then it hit off the end of my bat, and I tried to outrun the ball dribbling the pitcher, and I lunged for first base, and it just tore everything.
Damn.
Yeah, yeah. It was a pretty bad injury. I was in the Little League World Series.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
so cool.
So we played down at the Orlando Spring Training Field um, back in the day, and so yeah, really involved. So that's still a sport that I absolutely love. And I think the Braves are doing pretty good. So I
They're in
haven't
first
really.
place.
Are they
Yeah.
really?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. I should be proud of that,
Yeah.
but I don't actually watch it enough to say, hey, this is where we are. But no, yeah. So grew up in Atlanta playing baseball. And after I got injured, I ended up going to a local college and I got a human relations psychology with a minor in Bible
Okay.
degree. So, and I remember the day. The day was right there, September 11th, right? And I was a freshman in my dorm room, and there's certain things in your life that you just remember, right? They just like, it's so vivid, right? So I was sitting there with a bunch of dudes watching TV, and then all of a sudden it got interrupted on TV, and the next thing pops up, man, and the Twin Towers are just on fire, basically just crumbling. And I remember that moment. I was like, man, we're being attacked, and so they were asking for people to step up and defend our country. And so I was one of those guys at that time. So I joined the Marine Corps. So finished that semester out. I went through pulley function just to get everything going, as far as MEPS and getting everything lined up. And then went to Paris Island, in January. So did that, went through the Marine Corps. I had a pretty successful career. And I got out. It's one of those things about brotherhood, right? And
Hmm.
camaraderie and all that. You miss it. There's things, I mean, like you playing baseball, right?
Yeah.
Like you develop those relationships and those friendships, which are important. So I missed it. So after I finished up my degree, I went into the Army. I was too broken, to go into OCS in the Marine Corps. So the Army picked me up, and so I went through OCS, and then yeah, I had a couple different jobs there, and the last one, and I would say it was the most challenging was being a chaplain in the Army. So that was how I ended my Army career. And so, and my wife and I, at first year in marriage, we decided to move to Shanghai, China.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we lived for 2 years in Shanghai, and so that was where my first business started, and I had no idea that I was an entrepreneur. So it kind of just fell in my lap. I mean, God just kind of brought me the right people at the right time, and yeah, so ended up having an incredible business, but it took 10 years to get there, right? So a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, and um, you
Why
know.
did you guys move there?
So yeah, it's a great question, man. You know, after getting out of the Army, um, the Army pay, even though I got out as a captain, I mean, the pay was not very good. And so my wife came to me and she was like, "Hey, we have an opportunity to go to China." I was like, "God, get out of here!" Like, no, there's no way. I'm an American. I'm from the South, right? Like I just, I can't speak that language, and that's just a different culture. Like, I like to be up in the mountains hunting. I love to be in the river fishing,
Hmm.
right? I don't want to be in the largest, most populated city in the world, right? And she's like, "Well, we can make $250,000 each if we go there, and I was like, "All right, done." Like as long as it's not forever, I can do it. So now the pay wasn't as good as I was hoping, but the cost of living was so low when we lived there. It was almost like we were making $250,000. She was a SAT, TOEFL, what they call it, a Hagwon director. So she was not actually teaching. The teachers were all like MIT, Yale, Harvard, graduates, and they were teaching TOEFL and SAT to all these kids. And so basically, so they can get into the top universities in America. And then I was a dean of students and a history teacher in a international high school. And basically, I just showed up, put my head down, went to work, and I was able to meet the principal. And I guess, I mean, we hit it off. I mean, we couldn't communicate. He couldn't speak a lick of English, and I couldn't speak one word of Chinese. But it felt like we are best friends.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, kind of weird, right? But every time we had to get together, obviously we had a translator, and so I served him for about a year, and he's like, "Trent, man, in Chinese, obviously, he's like, you show up on time, you do what you're told, you don't complain. I know you're from America, like I have an opportunity for you." And I was like, "What's that?" And he's like, "I got 3 kids that have a desire to go to America." I was like, "Okay, cool." I was like, "How do I help you?" And he's like, "Well, if you can help, find the school and find host families, then, I'll be grateful." And so I didn't think anything of it. So I did. My wife's father just happened to be ahead of school. So I called him, and so we were able to find the host families, and no problem. I mean, it went well. The kids came back and they're like, I guess they gave a great rapport to the principal, and the principal kind of came back to me and said, "Hey, look, that went so well. Like, I want you to start your own business, and I'll give you more students than you can handle." I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm 27 at this time,
Hmm.
right?" My wife at this point probably married a little over a year. And so ended up basically going for it. I'm like, we don't even have children of our own, and we're going to send other people's children over the pond to go live with strangers, to go to a strange high school. And so basically, it happened. I mean, so that first year, I think he gave us like 30 students. And these kids are paying like anywhere from $30,000 to $100,000 each. And, by year 10, we're placing about 300 students around 30 different states, and so it becomes a full operation to where we're opening offices in not only Shanghai, but we opened one in Jiaxing and Hong Kong, and then we moved down to Vietnam, opened an office there, and then we tried to open one in the Philippines, India, and some other locations. But yeah, we had 7 offices around the world on 3 different continents and over 100 employees, and it was a big operation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is. So you guys are essentially, you're in between these host families and these students, and
Yeah.
you're bringing everyone together.
We're just like the liaison.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did have to do a lot of, which I'm against the politics, but we did have to, work with the politics, or go through the whole route with politicians. But ended up, yeah. So we had to work with the U.S. consulate a lot. So which was difficult in China.
Yeah. What an interesting business to get into.
Oh, for sure. But it consumed my life. So the second question you asked was like battle worn, right? So based on that little synopsis of what I just presented, consuming my life, that was all I thought about. I thought about money was my idol. That was everything. Like I thought I was providing and protecting, through as much money as I could possibly make for my family, but I forgot what was important, so I ended up putting possessions, like, we had the cars, we had the houses, we had the boats, we could travel whenever, wherever we wanted. I was always away hunting or fishing. But in that time, and I didn't know it, but my marriage was suffering. I wasn't putting enough focus on what truly mattered. And so we also have 3 kids. And so those 3 kids weren't getting the attention from dad like they should have been. So yeah, I mean, it was tough. And this little thing that happened, and we all know, in 2019 called COVID, destroyed a lot of people's lives. And I was one of them.
Were you still running this business?
I was.
Then? Oh, well.
Yeah. And so ended up COVID happening, and guess, it happened out of China, of all places. And so I had 47 lawsuits stacked on my desk, and they're all from Chinese families threatening to sue me because I couldn't get their child back home. And, they had the lockdowns, and then even then, sending kids back, I mean, they would have to go through quarantine, right? So it was a mess, as everybody knows, if they're of that age or even had a business during that time. Were you in business at that time?
No, it was after that.
Was it after that? Okay.
I kind of like the transportation part of my business started kind of because of COVID, because, like mid 2020, there was this huge demand for transportation because all the rental cars were gone.
Yeah.
So it was like, it created a weird market opportunity.
Yeah.
Which it did in a lot of things.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, I was coming at it from a different angle, but it was just as weird for me in many ways, but.
Oh, for sure, though. I mean,
not in a 47 lawsuit way.
Yeah. I mean, it broke me. It absolutely broke me. In the time that I was going through that, my wife was going to serve me papers. So we're on the verge of a divorce. So I could have lost her, and I could have lost, my kids to that. And that actually, like, I mean, Christ just cut me off at my knees. I just fell at the cross, and I was like, man, I've got to serve him and my family. And so basically what happened was, I was like, well, if money and possessions are my idol, and that's something that I'm worshiping, I've got to get rid of those things in my life. Now, I'm all about, like, we all need to make money, right? It's the love of money that creates sin, and it creeps up in yourself to where, it provides this pride and this worship of identity, to where that's the focus, and you can lose everything else that really truly does matter, right? So I ended up selling a lot of my assets. I ended up, we had all these homes, and we had all, the house and the cars, and so I ended up going out and bought a Newmar Dutch Star Class A. Right. The only one they make actually with bunk beds in it, because we have a family of 5. And then I towed a 1-ton truck, Ram behind us. And we went through 30 different states, man. And we homeschooled the kids, and we went to almost every national park. And it's hard to make up for that lost time. But I wanted to show my wife that I'm dedicated to this marriage, right? I'm dedicated to these children, right? So, and that was what I was focused on. I was focused on restoring my relationship with my wife and my kids. And so part of that too is I had this vision of, hey, I can't be the only one going through this, right? And so I started reaching out to friends and colleagues and people, and they're like, yeah, man, like you get caught up in this trap of, hey, this is important, and you forget about everything else. However that looks like in your life, it's easy for us as men to get distracted like that. And so, it's story after story after story. I was like, man, this is like, where do we go? What do we do?
Yeah.
You know, when things like that happen, right? And so, and then this whole time with this crazy world we live in, right, where right is wrong and wrong is right, like we have to define what a man is or a woman. That's absolutely insane to me, right? So we have a woke, weak country of men who have a hard time standing up for their families, right? And so, you know, that was another part of it too with Battle Worn was like, okay, what can we do? What can we do so we can provide a service, you know, for these men? And the word that kept on coming up is purpose. Like a lot of men really like, do you feel like, this is a question, like, do you feel like you're serving a purpose in what you're doing in life?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Like, and I'll tell you, because it's been a journey for me too, but in the largest sense with this podcast.
Oh, okay.
Because it's like, I genuinely know that it's providing a value
For sure.
You know, to the community, to the guests. And like, I think I told you when we were talking before we started, this is a lot. It's a lot to learn how to set all this stuff up, how to run it. But it's like, yeah, it's like, I feel pulled to do it. Not like I'm just busted my ass to make some more money so I can get some glory.
Yeah.
Because I'm almost indifferent to that to a fault. Because I was telling you, I should probably actually try to grow this and promote it.
For sure.
But yeah. But that's something I've dealt with a large part of my life.
Purpose.
You know, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, like you feel how hollow a lot of that stuff is.
For sure. So how do you feel like when you say the word purpose, right? And so how is that purpose? How are you getting purpose out of doing the podcast?
I think I guess the purpose for me is I know, like I can feel that I'm creating connection, you know, with you now, with other people and offering some value to their life.
Yeah. Yeah. But so when like things happen in your life, right? So like, that's another part of Battle Worn, right? Do you have, like, we say 4 men, your mat carriers, you know, that can carry you during a difficult season of life. Like that's what we're teaching. That's just like a very small piece of what we're teaching, but it is important to have those men in your life, right? And so that purpose you're fulfilling is not only for yourself, right? It's for the men around you too. And I'm not excluding women. I'm just talking about, you know, we got 2 guys sitting here and, you know, I'm speaking to the men right now, but we're created differently. You know, when God created us, we're created in the wilderness, right? We weren't created in the garden. And a lot of people get that wrong. A lot of people think we're created in the garden with Eve, and we weren't. We were created in the wilderness and placed in the garden with Eve. So we're meant to go out and hunt, be gatherers, hunters, fishermen. Like that's what our purpose is, right? And in today's world and society, most of us are behind a computer all day. You know, we don't have calluses, you know, on our hands. We have them on our fingertips just from like touching the keyboard.
Yeah.
Right. And it's designed on purpose because the enemy is doing that. He's here to kill, steal, and destroy. And if he can distract you from what you're created to be, he'll do it in a heartbeat. Right. So that's something else. We're trying to, you know, teach these men like, okay, well, you know, that purpose and that hope, right? A lot of men are struggling. And when I say that, I'm saying like military guys too, right? Mm-hmm. Like these guys are men, like they've been through it. And so like sometimes they're human. I mean, they are human. They break. right? And it's hard for us military dudes to find somebody else that can relate in moments like that. So, yeah, we're teaching and equipping men to be followers of Christ. And with Battle Worn, it's focused on 4 main cornerstones. And the best way I can describe it is, we're going to focus on faith, right? Your relationship with the Lord. We're going to focus on family. How do you become a better father and a better husband, right? And then we're going to talk about fitness. And this is a big component that I appreciate it, not only because, I'm a avid hunter and I love to, get up the mountains and get after it. But this fitness part is nutrition too, because of what we put in our body, how we feel, how we can be able to do the things that we need to do for our families and our vocation and everything else. We got to start eating right and working out, and then finance. A lot of people forget about the finance cornerstone of your life because most people don't know how to balance a book, and so you'll be surprised how many, or maybe you won't, but how many businesses they don't even know what a P&L is, or a spreadsheet, so they don't use it. They're good at what they do, but they forget about the important things too, like you got to make sure you have cash flow.
Yeah, there's some stat that like 80% of businesses aren't generating a profit.
Yeah,
and you're kind of unaware of it.
Yeah,
because you can just keep kicking the can down the road.
For sure.
So
sometimes it's hard to face it too.
Yeah.
It's like, some of your businesses, so we've owned and operated 10 different businesses, and some of them I didn't like looking at the books because it's like, oh, I don't be stressed out today. Am I going to have enough money to cover payroll this month? Right. But that's the thing, man. We have to face that fear and just be like, hey, if we want to operate, and that's the heartache of owning your own business. People want to own their own business, right? Which is great. I'm all about it. But they don't realize the work and the effort and the sacrifice and everything else that comes with owning your own business. It's cool to say, yeah, I own a business, but everything on the back end is just as important as everything on the front end of your business. And you've got to work them both in order to have a successful business.
Yeah. And I can speak to that too, because I don't know why. I can really only speak for myself, but there's such a freedom in facing that and just being honest and saying, hey, maybe this is a huge problem and this is shit, but there's a huge freedom in like there's actually more pain in the avoidance.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, like we kind of, at least I'll speak for myself, you kind of trick yourself, or I do, is like, oh no, it's good. Just don't worry about it. And then once you face it, you're like, why do I feel lighter now? Now I know where I'm at. Now I know where I need to go and I can do this.
Yeah.
That's been a journey for me.
Yeah. But what about that time that you look at your spreadsheets and you're like, crap, I don't know if I can make payroll this month. Are you just like rolling in the dough and you don't have to worry about that?
No, that's definitely happened.
Oh, okay.
And I think this is like the number one thing I've referred to people is there's a book called Profit First.
Okay.
And it's just a way to run your business finances. And it's changed the way that I've, handled finances in my business. And I thought I like discovered slicing bread when I figured this out.
Yeah.
But it's so simple, but like some people just don't know. And it's like, it's easier to just turn a blind eye.
Yeah.
But to the payroll, I think it was specific because in this system, you put X amount of all your income aside for payroll. Mm-hmm. And you, like, I know, X amount, 25% of all income needs to go to payroll. So that gets put away right there. And then it's always there. It's like magic every 2 weeks. Yeah. But it took me years to get there.
Yeah. That's smart. I mean, it is because I don't know, even in business, you have seasons, right? And so when things are good, we tend to spend more. We obviously trying to leverage the finances that are coming in and being able to capitalize on those opportunities. But at the same time, like we sometimes forget about the lows, right? And the economy and the market is always, up and down. And so, I always teach, when you do and you're profitable, then you set aside a certain amount of money for when you're not. Yeah. It's that cash reserve that's important to have, because it will happen. I don't care. Like we started with the international agency company that we started, out the gate, man, we had very low overhead. And I was, I thought I knew what I was doing. Like, but when we started opening more offices and we started having more people on payroll, I'm like, I have no clue what I'm doing. Right. And it just got to a point of like, I'm either going to sell this thing or I'm going to go off and learn what I can to become better. And so I went off and got a executive MBA, to really understand, the financial world. And it helped tremendously. Still does to this day. I've never had to actually use MBA as far as, for my career, meaning I haven't worked for somebody in over 20 years. Right. So, I've kind of forgotten what it's like to be an employee. Right. I'm good where I'm at though. Like I don't think I can go back. Right.
Yeah.
And I just can't. I mean, I'm not that I'm comfortable. It's just the fact that I'm set in my ways now. And I love helping businesses as far as being a consultant. But as far as working for somebody else, I won't do it. My wife knows that too. Like there's just no way. At one point, we were struggling financially. This was only a couple of years ago, and I was like, the first time ever, I was thinking, well, I'm just going to go work. Sometimes it's good to like put your head down and just go to work 9 to 5 and not even really think about anything else besides your responsibilities. But when you're the owner, you know what CEO stands for?
Chief Executive Officer.
Yeah, but in my case, in your case, it's Chief Everything Officer.
Okay.
Right? So you're putting on all the hats, man. So you do everything. I mean, it's from marketing to the logistics to everything, right? So, and it's draining. It's really draining, and so those things can consume your life. It can, a lot of stuff can creep in and distract you from, once again, what's important in life.
Can I jump back? Let's say 2020-ish, or when you said you were taking your family around.
Yeah.
Prior to that, were you living in the U.S. then, or were you still in China then?
No, I was. Yeah, so we were in the U.S.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the breaking point or the tipping point for you with this? Because you said at one point, it was about business and you were chasing the money. And I'm sure it wasn't like just one thing, but was there something that happened, or like, is your faith background been with you your whole life, or did that change drastically as you got older?
Yeah, my faith, I told you I was a chaplain, right? You'd think, to have the ultimate faith of being a saint, but I wasn't. But yeah, so 2019 is when I lost everything, and like ended up like basically in the shower in the fetal position crying because my identity was caught up in all that stuff. So yeah, losing, that business, it was generating $20 million a year, over 100 employees, like I said, like 7 different offices around the world. And I was traveling, I was gone 6-7 months out of the year, whether it was, China, Vietnam, wherever, and I was gone. So it was actually worse than being deployed in the military. And so I did a lot of things too that I wasn't proud of at the time, and I just drifted. So that breaking point for me was losing, a multi-million-dollar business, about to lose my wife, could have lost my kids in that, which is, heartbreaking just to even think about. That was the turning point. And so I didn't know what surrender was. We go through this life and this comfortable life, and this surrender was overwhelming. It's almost hard to explain unless you've done it and you've been through it. Because I love the Lord, I did, but I didn't really know Him as much as I do now. And that was my changing moment. It was something that hit me right between the eyes, and something that I'll never forget. The moment, like once again, I told you, how vivid that was with 9/11. Right, I know exactly. Like I could picture everything in that room when I was broken, and with that, it was something that I have to change. And when I did, nothing got easier, right? It just fulfilled, I started, focusing on that purpose, that hope. and it changed my life. We don't make nearly the money that we did. Man, I'm so much happier. I'm much healthier mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically than I've ever been. You know, I'm about to turn 44 in August, and dude, I'm living my life, and it's not, you know, because of me. Is I'm living my life for other people, right? And that's what, you know, going back to battle worn, that's is providing that brotherhood, you know, that camaraderie that a lot of men lose, right? And I do feel like that's why a lot of men and women join the military, right? And also, you know, LEOs and firefighters, you know, that's why they do that. But when they get out or when something destructive happens, I mean, where do they go? Right. And so not a lot of these departments are set up for, you know, crisis afterwards, after the fact. Right. So, you know, some of these departments don't have the funds to be able to pay for, you know, a counselor to come in, or a chaplain, or somebody, you know, to come in and provide that support for them. And we want to do that. I mean, that's the goal, right? So with battle worn, there's two different divisions. So in order to clear this up a little bit, so Battle Worn Foundation, right? Battle Worn Foundation is a nonprofit organization. So we're raising money for the military and first responders so they can go through this program at absolutely no cost. And right now we're starting here in the community. So we had a fundraising dinner, I think it was a little over a month ago. And, you know, we expected maybe 50 people. You know, I'd been stoked if we got $25,000, and God's like, "No, man, like this is way bigger than you." And so, we had over 250 people there. We had, you know, we had people representing the fire department, the police department, three different services of branches in the military, and then, you know, we ended up leaving that night and raised over $115,000.
Very cool.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So that gave us enough money to send, you know, 20 men through the program. And so, you know, that's including their flights, their food, you know, everything that's entailed in this 5 days that they get to, you know, get after it. And it's going to be a transformational period. I mean, we called it convergence because, I mean, you're going to come Monday a certain way. You know, some of these men, you know, might be broken, or, you know, they're suffering from something. You know, by day 5, when they graduate, dude, they're going to leave completely different. And I promise you, like, this is going to be a life-changing moment for these men.
And have you done this? How many of these cohorts have you done?
We haven't. So we have not done one yet.
Okay.
But we're all a part of another organization called Mighty Oaks. And so we have two TLs, team leaders, on Battle One right now. One of them, full bird colonel in the Marine Corps. And he's been with Mighty Oaks since it started in 2012. Helped develop the curriculum. He's been at, you know, most of their programs. He's been serving them. And so he's been a huge asset for our company. So, and that's where my faith and hope lies in, because they've had so much success at Mighty Oaks. And the guys that we got on board as leaders, you know, we've all served in a different way. Me as a military chaplain, right? In the military, with different jobs and different opportunities to lead men. With a colonel, obviously, just a natural born leader. There's another gentleman, Mark, and he absolutely crushes it. He was a SWAT detective out of California, and so he's also a team leader, you know, for Mighty Oaks. He's actually there right now. So we still partner with other organizations because we believe in, you know, cooperation, right? Not competition. And so we want to cooperate and collab with as many organizations like this as possible. You know, they may help us, and maybe one day when we start, you know, getting bigger and starting to reach out to more people, we'll be able to help them.
So when will these 20 guys, do you have 20 people selected yet, or how's
No,
that?
no, yeah. So this is great. I mean, if we can get the word out, that'd be
Mhm.
great. You know, I'm having great conversations with local people in Montana right now. There's a sheriff. Oh, he was a sheriff, so he served 2 terms, and so we chatted last week about this, and so he's going to circulate out a flyer for us. We're probably more than halfway there, but I'd like to, you know, the more applications that we have, the better.
Mhm.
And the reason for that is donations, right? You know, because I know the need is there. There's no doubt about that. You know, and the more money we can raise, the more money we can send to this program. So yeah, I don't want the applications to stop. Now we're at maybe 30 applications. This is crazy. So we're at 30 applications, but only seven of them are from Montana.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we're getting applications in from Florida, Georgia, California, Texas, Arizona, all these other places. For whatever reason, you know, the men right now who are focusing on, you know, they're not stepping up. So I'd like to see more men who are in the military or have served in the military or as a first responder go to our website and just apply.
So that's what I was going to ask you. Who's the perfect candidate, or who should apply
Man,
to this?
dude, yeah, we don't care if you've, you know, you put on a uniform. That's who we want, right? So we don't care if, you know, if you're still in the military or not. You know, as far as, you know, LEOs and firefighters, you know, go all the way down to EMS. You know, as long as you're serving our country and our community, we want to serve you.
Mhm.
Those are the people we're looking for.
Yeah. I've had a few conversations because I've had a few different people on here that do different stuff for, post military.
Hmm.
And when I moved to Montana in 2019, not long after I got into martial arts,
Hmm.
and I've been doing it pretty regularly. Really, like the last year, I've done the least amount, but
When you say martial arts, what do you mean?
jujitsu,
Okay,
yeah,
good. That
jujitsu and
is
Muay Thai,
okay. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like
So
practical stuff that works in real
oh, for
life.
sure. Yeah, I took 6 years in BJJ. So
Okay, yeah,
yeah.
cool. And that community that I built,
Mm-hmm.
I just thought in my head, and I don't have a military background. I'm like, man, I couldn't imagine what it would feel like to lose this.
Mm.
And I could only imagine when you're out of the military and it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And then because all those guys I could relate to,
Yeah.
we were in the same struggle every day, and we all know each other. We just build these relationships, and like that was the best, understanding I could ever have on a personal level of what
Mm.
that might be like to lose that. And I can't imagine how much that sucks.
Yeah.
And the consequences are so much higher for military and first responder, and they're really risking their lives and building this community. And then how do you relate to anyone?
Yeah.
What do you what
You
do you
know,
do from there?
yeah. I mean, so I started with one of my best friends in the world back in Georgia. It's a nonprofit called Forge, and it was attached to our church. And so he actually came to me and he was like, dude, let's do something for the community. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And so we opened this, 1 hour program every Sunday before church started, and we had all these military and first responders show up. I understand the military world pretty good, and the first responders, like I've never been, LEO or firefighter, so these guys would come in, right, and they start telling their stories of what they're struggling with, and man, my eyes were just wide open. Like I had no clue. Like, for example, I had one of the firefighters. I mean, he's probably been with the department for 10 years, and he ended up, just got off shift and came right into the program that morning. I'm like, "You're right, man." He's like, "Nah." He's like, we had a bad call last night. I was like, "Okay, well, you want to talk about it?" He's like, "Yeah, and it was just him and I before everybody else was showing up." And basically what happened was a bad car accident, and basically 3 kids in the back seat, decapitated, like they just their heads cut off, like, just, and he's pulling these bodies out, right? And so he's got 3 kids of his own. Dude, I started like tearing up. I'm like, man, like how do you deal with this? Because, it's not only that, it's how do you go back, right? These men that serve our community, they have to go back to their families, right? That night, like they don't get to escape. Like for us in the military serving overseas, I mean, we're, you know, we're in that moment and we have those men around us, right? We don't have to face certain situations, of, you know, we just don't have to face the emotions that come with a lot of this. And so, you know, he was talking about every time he passes that scene, he's reminded of that, right? And if something happens overseas, right, we leave, we pack things up and we come back home. Like we don't have to face it as much as they do. So, and there's a lot of, you know, firefighters and law enforcement officers that are prior military. So they get it, they understand, right? And so I always tell people, like, for us in the military, I mean, it's like a faucet, right? You just crank it wide open, go over there for 7 months or whatever your deployment is, and you know, you shut it off like as best as you can when you get home. For these guys that serve our community here, it's a slow drip, you know, and it does allow things to creep into your head, you know, those emotions, you know, the enemy just, you know, saying and whispering things in your ear, you know, to where, you know, you're not good enough or you can't do this anymore, you know, just saying things that aren't true, you know.
Yeah, it's so the episode will come out tomorrow. Not tomorrow when people hear this, but tomorrow actually. The
Yeah.
This girl Jessica, she has a business called Firebreak Management. So
Okay.
she's kind of helping people protect their homes and do wildfire prevention.
Awesome.
And she was a wildland firefighter.
Awesome.
And she sat right where you were sitting and told me about a situation when they were on a bad fire and they were just like they were trapped. They had nowhere to go. They almost didn't have any water, and she started choking up just thinking about it. And it's just crazy to think, like, you know, she was saying like they had a no phone policy because they don't want people to be on their phone and get distracted.
Mm-hmm.
But then she didn't have a phone to call anyone, and she's wondering, like, you know, could she call her boyfriend or husband or any family member? Will she ever see him again? And it's like it's insane to think about how you like, and you know, fortunately they lived through that situation. But how do you like look at something like that and then come just live life with everyone else?
Like it's no big deal. Like
Yeah.
I'm just going to hang out, you know,
Yeah.
just fought this fire and things are happening around me that just don't make sense. And,
Yeah.
you know, I've got to go back and be a mom, you know, I got to be back and be a wife, you know, or, you know, whatever that looks like, you know, so it's tough. You know, I've heard hundreds, if not thousands of stories from these guys, you know, and it breaks my heart, you know, because those guys are laying down their lives for us, right? And so how do we serve them? And a lot of people, unfortunately, like, I mean, I think I would hope to think that everybody is thankful for what they do. We did live in a time too to where they were being stoned, as I call it, you know. There's hated. And I don't think that's so much true here in Montana, but it was in Atlanta. It was awful. And during that time with these guys, the first responders, dude, it broke them, you know, because you sign up to serve, right? You sign up to do things, and yeah, man, you got like 1% of these dudes and gals, you know, yeah, they're bad eggs, right? But you don't focus on 1% and forget about the 99 and actually want to do something good, you know. So yeah, and if you're not standing behind these police officers, firefighters, anybody that's willing to serve us, then leave.
Yeah,
get out of here, man. You know, we don't have time for that crap, and that's part of where I stand with Battle Worn is like, dude, no, we're going to serve these men, and we're going to make them, you know, have that hope again. And we're going to fill their soul with the things that it needs to be filled with, because there are people out there that are attacking them, and we just don't stand for that crap.
yeah. I mean, that's a tough thing. If you want to paint a picture now of anyone, it's pretty easy to do right now. So you can find those, you know, those couple bad apples, and then just make sure that that's what's seen by everyone.
Yeah.
And it's a human thing though. Like, this is not a new thing.
Yeah.
There's always bad humans.
Yeah.
They don't represent the whole.
Yeah.
Or we wouldn't be here.
Yeah. I mean, for sure, dude. Like, if you gave me a choice, like, I don't know, like throw a pack on my back and let me go hunting for, a month in the wilderness, to go chase elk. Like I'm all about it. Right. I need that time of solitude and just being able to, get away. And so, yeah, there's a time and moment for it. But we're also called to be with other men and be leaders in our families. Right. And so, when I'm out in the mountains, it is good time, but it gives me an opportunity to recharge my batteries to get back after it when I get off that mountain, or off that river. Right. So I love to hunt. I did own a custom firearm company, so I'm all about hunting, but my real love and passion is fly fishing.
Oh,
So,
right on.
oh yeah. Yeah. So,
So how much can you speak to what these 5 days look like?
yeah.
What would someone or could someone expect to go through?
Okay. So yeah, the first thing is, I don't expect everybody to graduate,
Okay.
and that's the purpose. Right. So, and here's the thing, we'll meet you where you are, right? Physically and spiritually, emotionally, whatever. As long as you don't quit, right? That's what we're teaching is you don't grow in comfort, right? And you don't get anywhere by quitting, right? So as long as you give it all and you don't stop, you'll graduate. So yeah, Friday or Monday is going to be like kickoff day, debrief and everything. And so we'll hit it hard Tuesday morning, a PT, and then like give an example, put packs on, hit the mountain, right? And we'll have devotional scripture, some classes up top of the mountain. And, we're going to, be teaching this entire time and providing this brotherhood mentality of, hey, you got other people in your corner. They want to stand with you during this time too. We had a mock film day. And so basically there's like 20 dudes that just locked arms, and we just walked into a freezing pond together, so we did a little non-gay pond dip. So, we all got in there, locked arms so nobody could leave. And there's men that didn't want to do it. I was like, well, go home. Like you're done. And they did. We all did it. Nobody quit. We got in that pond. We sat in it for a couple minutes. Everything was frozen. Right. But, it brings men closer, right? That camaraderie, those things of doing hard things together, and it makes for good stories too. Right. So you think about all the times you've been hunting, right? And out here in the West, and like, it's some days are not easy, right? You're especially when you pull that trigger, things get a little bit more difficult, up on the mountain. So, but as your listeners listen, as you know, like it brings that brotherhood of like good stories, like stories that you can probably think of a couple right now, as I can, of like doing hard things, maybe just with one or two guys after you pulled the trigger on an elk, and stomping through the snow and maybe, a couple miles out. And
I haven't pulled the trigger on an elk, unfortunately, but
what? Hold on.
because I'm a whitetail hunter. That's
Well,
primarily what I've done.
is it?
Yeah, I've only been on one like 9-day elk hunting trip out here since I've
Do
been
you
here.
even call yourself a Montana?
Yeah.
Like resident?
Montanian.
Montanian?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Whitetail?
Yeah. I grew up whitetail hunting, so I've done a lot of whitetail hunting.
So are you from here?
No,
Okay.
I'm from the East Coast.
East Coast?
Yeah.
Where?
Upstate New York.
Upstate New York.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You're
No.
So I didn't tell you earlier when you said Braves, because I grew up a Mets fan.
Oh, did you
So,
really? Man,
the
this
rivals.
is like, we started off really good.
I know.
and
I
this is
wasn't going
like,
to say anything.
we can't end the session with like
Yeah.
you being a Mets fan and me being a Braves fan, right? So no, it's great, man. It's like, so yeah, whitetail. But that's funny because I moved here and I have no desire to kill whitetail.
Yeah. I don't now either. Like I have desire to kill an elk.
Yeah.
I just,
But you haven't yet.
different priorities. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got to change that.
Yeah. This year's looking pretty good for
Is
me.
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what about a muley? Have you killed one of those yet?
No.
Okay. So hold on. So your listeners are hunters,
Yeah. So,
right?
yeah.
Some of them. All right. And you haven't been out yet. Have you at least attempted to go elk hunting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Me and a buddy did a 9-day hunt here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you chased it for?
Yeah. We got onto some elk, and like, to be honest, he was on first shot because he drove from across the country, but
Yeah.
we
No,
got
for
into
sure.
some elk. So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, hopefully that changes this year.
Yeah, it should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you should go for the elk, the muley,
Yeah.
and the antelope,
Yeah.
like in one season.
Yeah.
Is that the goal this year?
And elk is the goal.
The elk.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
We'll start there.
yeah, get
Yeah.
there before. But whitetails, man, they do need to be dropped for sure. There's just too many of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I'm not against dropping whitetails at all. But
And back to where you are, though, I thought that's a great concept, locking arms, the cold plunge.
Mhm.
So the idea is like you're all with each other,
That's right, man.
keeping each other in the cold water.
That's right. Yeah, it does have that military feel to it.
Mhm.
You know, like we'll do other things. Part of these, you know, the physical fitness part is we're coming up with things that I've done and the colonel and some other guys that when they went through OCS of, you know, being able to not get through a certain course without relying on your brothers. So it's easy to finish if you want to finish yourself, right? These courses are designed to where you can't finish unless your team finishes. And they're not easy courses. They're not easy to just walk through. I mean, they rely, and you have to rely on all the team members to get through. So yeah, they're creative, but they're intentional in what we're trying to do.
So this concept is that you rely on each other and you're there for each other, not just for yourself.
Yeah, for sure. Because I think men are very prideful,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and we go into isolation pretty quick,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we think, hey man, we can beat our chest, right? And I got this, right? Those are the three most dangerous words a man can say. I got this, right? Because you don't got this, right? You know, you think you do, right? And we teach also that, you know, battle one, right? It's you either just got out of a battle, you're in a battle, or you're about to walk into a battle. So you're always in a battle, right? And so like, how do you walk through that? How do you walk through life like that, right? So, I mean, you said fiance, so
Yeah.
So when are you getting married?
Later this month.
Are you really?
Yeah, like less than 4 weeks.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I'm
man.
excited. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, you're about to walk into a battle.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
No, dude. It's like marriage is the best thing, right? So, but it is a battle, marriage itself. Like we talk about the enemy, right? So what does the enemy go after more than anything else? It goes after the nuclear family, right? Because that is, in my opinion, the man and the woman who have a healthy relationship and they focus on the Lord, you know, that is the closest image of God that we get, right? And so when the enemy can completely destroy that, right? Divorce happens, and then, you know, if you have children, and then, you know, like splitting time with children, and so you don't have the father or the mother in the situation, and so it becomes really messy. And so we were trying to prevent that from happening. So yeah, I mean, honestly, like the first year is like, you know, an incredible, like they call it the honeymoon phases, you know, but you know, as you continue to go on and you grow your family, like it becomes more and more difficult. It does. I mean, you just add little heathens to the mix, and then you're dealing with, you know, demon kids all the time, and you're like, well, crap, man, maybe I'm not cut out to be a dad or a mom or whoever. But dude, these kids are the joy of my life, right? And my marriage is better than it's ever been, and it's because I put him first and I put her second. And that's what it's intended to be, is because, you know, as long as I'm following him in everything that I'm doing, I've got that opportunity to serve him, and it makes me a better man, better leader, better father, and husband to serve my family. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And tell me, because you know who you reminded me of is, do you know the Shan, the restaurant in Bozeman?
Which restaurant? What?
It's called Shan. It's in the Cannery District. It's
Is this like a plug
food
for your guy? Or?
No.
Hey, we're going for dinner.
He had a bunch of restaurants in Thailand, and they pretty much all closed down.
Okay.
Around COVID, and he said him and his family were traveling the U.S. and they landed in Bozeman.
What?
And he opened up this restaurant.
I've got to meet this guy.
It's a really good restaurant.
Is it?
Yeah. I'll send you the episode with him because you'll hear
it's over in the Cannery.
In the Cannery District.
Okay.
Yeah. What else is in there?
7?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm familiar with the area.
Yeah. There's a Mexican food place in there.
Okay.
I'll send you the episode though, but like if you listen to it, you'll hear him tell the story, and I'm like, this sounds familiar,
Yeah.
which is very funny. But
There's more than one of us out there somewhere.
yeah. So I was just curious, like, where along this whole journey, when did you guys land in Bozeman or in Montana?
Yeah, that's a great question too. I mean, when we were traveling back and forth in the RV, we would spend 6 months out in Clyde Park at a friend's house. It just happened to work out really well because she had a hookup. I mean, a full hookup. I mean, sewage and water and power and everything that we needed. I mean, we backed up in the spot and we parked, and it was right on the Shields River Valley.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So I should say just in the Shields River, but that part of the valley is beautiful. But yeah, so we spent most of our time there. And, you know, it's funny because as we traveled all these different states, the intention too was like, where do we want to place our roots in or at? And so my wife wanted to go to Utah, and I was like, okay. And then we drove through Idaho. I was like, I want to go to Idaho. And it was because of hunting and fishing, right? And I like their policies too, by the way. They have really good policies that prevent a lot of unwanted people. And so we ended up moving to Montana, and Clyde Park was where we had our first company, and we moved that company inside of Schnee's. And so we moved to Belgrade, and then that's kind of where we sell. So it'll be 3 years in September.
Okay.
But we were coming back and forth for 2 years, so a total of 5 years. So.
And is there a company there now?
Is there a company
above Schnee's, or is that where you moved out of?
So that's where our Battle Worn office is.
Yep.
And then Scout Arms is still inside of Schnee's.
Okay.
The firearm company.
Oh, that's right in.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
in
So
Schnee's.
it's the back left corner of it. Yeah.
Oh, very cool. Nice, man.
Yeah.
So how's your experience been being here in Montana?
That's been great. I mean, it's expensive.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you tell me it's not expensive, then, there's something going on. I mean, you must be crushing it with, billions of dollars. But yeah, it's tough financially. I mean, as things get more and more expensive, and that goes for anything and everything. You're talking about payroll and just the cost of living and, fuel and everything else. So, other than that, like obviously we moved here because the mountains and, hunting and fishing and spend time with our kids. And so, yeah, it's been great. I mean, and the men and women that we've, surrounded ourselves with are absolutely beautiful human beings. And so the people here are well worth, the decision to stay here. So
yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah. People are great, man. And the businesses and like since we've been here, like, because in Atlanta is like, you ask for a favor, right? And somebody's willing to do it. And you're like questioning what is their motives, right? And so I took that whole mentality with me here, and people just want to serve. They just want to do it because they want to be a part of it, right? With Battle Worn Foundation, the nonprofit, it's like people just want to be a part of it. Like they don't care about the money. They want to be a part of it because they know it's going to make a difference in somebody else's life. And that right there it just fills my heart, because those kind of people we need in order to continue this motivation of being able to, carry this mission forward.
Yeah.
So, but what I haven't mentioned, so that's the foundation part. And so, there's another part, the legacy part. And this is where I'm gonna get you on the hook right here.
Okay.
So the legacy part, right? Same objective, right? Faith, family, finance, fitness, right? But the legacy is geared towards entrepreneurs.
Okay.
Solely, right? We go way more in depth in the finance world, right? So we want to make sure that you do know what a P&L is, or a balance sheet, or, and if it goes beyond that, we start talking about, different things like Roth IRAs and how to invest your money and how to grow and how to, prepare for those down times, right? But it's the same concept, right? But those are for entrepreneurs, executive leaders, CEOs, CFOs, that kind of thing. And so we are filling that program for October.
Okay. What is that? What's the format for that, or what does that look like?
So the format's going to be the same as far as the faith and the family, but it's going to go a little bit more in depth with the finance and business acumen of it. So we want to make sure that, like, you're leaving there with resources and tools that's going to grow your business.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main thing, right? But also we're going to talk about, like, yeah, man, like this business, it's hard. It can consume your life, right? And it's one of those things to where, can you walk away from that job, drive home, walk through that door, and be able to be the man that you need to be for your wife and for your kids? I mean, that's hard. Like, I'm guilty of it,
Mm-hmm.
and so that right there is like, how do you do that? Like, how do you know, accumulate the passive income that you need so you can spend more time with your family and do the things that you're called to do? So that's the stuff that we'll talk about, like, because that's important to me. It's it's one of those things to where the more and more we can educate the men and women, the better off it's going to be for more and more people to be entrepreneurs, right? And I know I keep on saying men. That's how we're starting, but
Mm-hmm.
the next phase is women. So I do want to make that clear. Like, we're going to have a battle-worn marriage.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's going to be, the counseling and the structure of helping married couples in the future.
So this legacy, program, if somebody does this, what does it look like? Is that like a week-long thing similar to
Yeah.
this? Okay.
Yeah, same structure, just, but so it's 5 days, it's the same concept right here in Bozeman. Have you heard of YAA? Yellowstone Alliance.
No.
So I think it's down there, like South Cottonwood
Okay.
area. So they're a faith-based nonprofit organization as well. And I've partnered with them. They partnered with me. And it's been great. Like I think because our missions align,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to work out really well. So yeah, just being a part of that organization has been a blessing.
So there's two different. There's the veteran and the first responder, and then this is a business owner focused
That's right.
thing.
That's right. So same mission, same goal in line, but one's path is kind of veered off for the military first responders, and the other one's veered off for entrepreneurs, executives, that kind of thing, and then they come back and they meet as the same focus.
Yep.
Right. And so the way it looks on both sides too is the equipping part. Right. So it doesn't stop after 5 days. Right. So it's the equipping part that we're excited about. So we will be meeting after that for that accountability, for being able to be there in your corner if something were to happen. Like, you think about it, dude. Like, I don't know, like, people spend billions of dollars on fitness and nutrition a year, right? People spend billions of dollars on counseling and, all this, like, and then, like, all this, like, we're trying to combine all four of these things, through a faith-based program for an affordable cost. So right now we're looking for 40 men, and I want you to be one of those 40 men, to go through the October cohort, but 40 men, we're calling them the founding men of Battle Worn Legacy. And so
I am on the hook now.
yeah, you are. I told you I'm coming back to you. So, but there's 40 men. So it's going to be separate. So the 41st man and after that won't have the same opportunity that these 40 men will have. Right. So we're going to do different things. They're going to be elite things too, and different things that we'll be able to go hunting together as men, but it establishes that brotherhood.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll be putting things together for this community as businesses.
Yeah, I was glad you said that, because I meant to ask earlier if there's anything ongoing, because I think that's where that community comes in.
That's right.
It's like, oh, here's so-and-so that I went through that with.
Yeah.
Like, I can reach out to them. They can relate kind of to the first responder or the veteran who, like, can't relate to anyone here.
For sure.
Like, man, you kind of live in a bubble here.
Yeah.
But at least if you go through that thing with those guys, if that connection is maintained, you can.
That's a great point.
Yep.
I mean, so there's actually 3 phases, right? So phase 1 is we're calling the covenant, right? It's a promise between not only you and him, but you and your brothers you'll be serving with, right? And then that moves over to phase 2, which is the convergence, right? That's the transformation period, right? And then after, and if you graduate, you move over to phase 3, which is the commission. And the commission is ongoing, right? We meet, 2 hours out of the month remotely. Mm-hmm. So it's not that much of a time crunch, but being able to serve these men in different aspects, whether it's the family, fitness, finance, all that. So we're able to serve those men that way too. So yeah, if it was just a 5-day program, might as well just call it a retreat.
Yeah.
Right. And this is definitely not a retreat.
Yeah. I mean, that's what can be a bummer. Like I've been to, different business things or like couple day things like that. And it's great. But then that's kind of like, that might be it, depending on how they're structured and what they, what it's for, and that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
I think that ongoing connection is what a lot of people are seeking.
Yeah.
In that community.
That's fine. And, we talked about it before we jumped on, right now, the big word is being authentic, in the world of AI, right? When you don't know, I mean, you go to social media now, you don't know what's fake and what's real. I mean, it's getting so freaking smart. Like there's things like you have to like really look at it now to see like, does that person have, 5 fingers or 6, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you pick it, oh, he's got 6, oh, so that's fake, right? So, but other than that, like if AI doesn't mess up somewhere in that video or photo, like you have no clue. And it's scary because, there's people that can direct you in the wrong path for sure. And that goes for anything and everything. So yeah, we want to be authentic in how we, do everything that we're doing.
Yeah. I think there's a huge value in it.
Yeah.
I think that with AI, cause I've said it, I feel like I don't see it as much anymore. And that's concerning because that's how good it's getting.
Yeah.
Cause when it was early on, in the early stages, you could tell it was, it was pretty clunky.
Yeah.
And now it's very hard to tell.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give you a little insight of what we'll talk about. So we, on the back end, we use a program called Go High Level, right? Have you heard of it?
CRM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's way more than just a CRM, man. It's like putting, I don't know, 30 people together and only making one monthly payment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it costs, $97, cuts the cost down on a lot of payroll, and so being able to leverage that and everything, it's awesome. It really is.
And this is stuff that you've learned and accumulated.
Yeah. I mean, it's great. Like AI can be used for good for sure. And that's my point is, AI is taking over jobs. Before, let's just talk 15 years ago, maybe 20. I'd have to hire 30 people for what this one program can do.
Yeah.
And it's insane, because, I told you I have 3 kids, right? And so the oldest is 16 and he's learning how to drive. Super scary, by the way. So to be in that passenger seat. But, I told him, I was like, look, dude, I don't care if you go to college, right? I don't care if you get that piece of paper, right? But you need to learn a skill, a trade, and be good at it. And so we've been meeting with electricians, plumbers, HVAC companies, and just like taking them down that road. Like right now he's working for a gentleman that owns a hydro seeding company, and he comes home like filthy and stinky, but he's like grinning ear to ear. Like it's great. Like I love to see my kids do that, but there's a lot of kids that sit there and eat Cheetos and watch things they shouldn't be watching on TV and on the internet.
Because you bring that up, and I think about this when we kind of started in the beginning, you're talking about purpose. I grew up on a farm, so we had a dairy farm.
Okay.
And for a large part of my life, like I woke up every day and I knew what my job was because I took over a lot of it as a young adult. And when I stopped doing that, I couldn't tell you how lost I felt.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have to think about it.
Yeah.
I'd wake up in the morning and I knew what I had to do. And you were talking to me about calluses on your hand and stuff, and that's nothing like what I do now. And but I'm almost like coming full circle because I'm trying to get back to that kind of stuff. So it's ironic the way that works out. But
yeah.
I mean, how do you think about that when you think about AI with college and stuff? Is he your oldest, the 16-year-old?
He is. Yeah. So then I have a 12-year-old and a 7-year-old girl. So boy, girl. I think it is going to absolutely take away from the job market for sure. I think it's going to be harder to find the qualified people too. I mean, when I say that because all these, I don't say kids. I mean, these college students are getting business degrees and they're getting, degrees that I'm not saying they're pointless, right? Because obviously I went through and got an undergrad and a master's in business, but it's one of the things. It's where I can go to AI now, and it can tell me whatever I want, and I don't have to have a 4-year degree to learn it.
Hi, folks. Quick note from me. If you don't already know, the goal of Mountain Mule is to build real connection between Montana's businesses and the people they serve. If this episode or any other has given you something worth thinking about, smiling at, passing along, I've got a small ask. Share it with a friend, text it to someone, consider following the show. Whether you're using our services directly or following and sharing the show, those simple actions help support this business as well as the businesses and guests that have been a part of the show. Thank you for supporting these Montana businesses, local jobs, and this beautiful state. Now back to the show.
And so I'm very confident my answer of it's not going to be able to take over, somebody coming out and running wire through your home.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or plumbing, or, it just won't do that, right? If you want security, and that's what I'm telling all my kids right now, is that, as long as it does take a computer to run the operation, like that is security, and having a career or a business for the rest of your life. I venture to say that, as long as you put your head down, you go to work, right? You do what you say you're going to do, and you're doing a trade, then man, you'll be a millionaire, or maybe a multi-millionaire in 5 years or less. And I truly believe that, with the tools that we have now.
Yeah. I mean, it's stealthy if you know what you're doing and you for business and stuff. Some of the stuff I've used it with, I'm like, man, this could be days or weeks of work.
Yeah.
To do, just some numbers you can run and some stuff you can come up with. And you obviously have to cross-check this stuff and double-check, but it's pretty cool, man, what some of it can do.
It is absolutely insane what it can do because, for example, like this morning, one of the sheriffs, reached out to me. He's like, hey, if you can create a flyer, I'll send it out to all these departments in Montana. Before I would have to, call up my, designer, whoever to create this thing for me.
I just thought of call my fiance. She's very good at that.
Oh, is she? Oh gosh. Well, what I'm about to say is probably not going to make her happy.
She's like tells me how, like you can hook Claude to Canva.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, probably where you're going with this.
Exactly what I did. Except I interchange between Chat and Claude, and I'll run both of them to see which one produces the better result, right, of design and everything else. So usually I'll go with one of them. That just happened this morning. I went with Chat, but ChatGPT ended up creating an incredible flyer. I mean, it would have taken me right, weeks, of just heartache and pain to design something. It took 5 minutes to do. But I've learned the prompts, and I've had to do more research on how to get it to where it's at right now. But like the guy was like, send me a flyer. I was like, all right, cool. Went there. It probably took me 15 minutes to write all the prompts and get everything to where it needs to be, and it's had the perfect flyer in less than a minute or two, and then I sent it over to him. So it's crazy what we can do now.
I know that in my experience, the biggest limitation with any of this AI is the human that's prompting it.
Yeah.
Because it's always like, man, why didn't I think to do that with that?
Yeah. But you can use a prompt to give you another prompt.
Yeah.
Make it, what I'm saying? Like it is a rabbit hole, right? Mm-hmm. I have regretfully spent way too much time on AI because I focus on that, right? And it was like, oh, what about this? What about that? What about, and so it can be somewhat distracting.
Yeah.
But in moments like this morning, to where I got a ton going on, and I was like, dude, no, I can send it over to you, and it worked out great.
Yeah. But
imagine how many jobs that it would take to not just a flyer, but just like design, right? Like, that's going to replace a lot of those people, right? One day it may replace photography and videography and, all those jobs.
Before we keep rolling with today's episodes, I want to tell you about someone who changed how we show up as a business. When clients land on our website, we hear the same thing over and over. It just feels right. Amy of Unbridled Form asked us questions we'd never thought to ask ourselves, helped us figure out the deeper identity underneath our services, and translated that into a brand world we're genuinely proud of. Our ongoing partnership is easily one of the best investments we've made. Learn more at unbridledform.com. Now back to the show. Yeah, it just seemed idiotic almost to to pay a human to do this with the snap of a finger. It makes me curious and a little bit excited as to what jobs will evolve out of that.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like where's the end, because my analogy in my head is always the evolution of the excavator from the shovel.
Yeah.
And this is going to take everyone's job who's digging a ditch.
Yeah.
And now we've got great operators and people building these machines, building the electronics.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if my mind knows how to it's not expansive enough to know what the evolution of this will be.
Well, no, I compare it to the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah.
Think about what happened there, right? So you might have some listeners like, oh, that's not going to happen. Or you might have some listeners like, yeah, that's agreeing with what we're saying. But, look what happened then. People were in denial, like, oh, these, and it replaced so many jobs. And that was nothing compared to what's going to happen. I really do feel like right now it's a tool, it's a resource, right? We're leveraging that right now because you have to have somebody go out there and take the photo, right? They have to get the content, right? But that person pops it into an AI program and it does a really crappy job right now, to be honest. But it's just a matter of time, like as an owner, like I could be like, and we do it already on our phones. Here's some content. Here's some, everything's messy content, and then so like if I had, my phone or camera out and then I just drop into a system and you just give it prompts and it spits like that'd save me thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars a year from paying somebody else to do it. Of course, what is the ultimate goal as an entrepreneur is to maximize profitability, right? And if we got to pay somebody else, $100,000 to do something that we can pay a program to do for a fraction of the cost, of course we're going to do it. Yeah. Right. So, it's going to be sticky, man. It's going to be, it's not there yet, but 5-10 years, I think it's going to be some damage.
Yeah. And it's one of those things that, even part of me is like, no, I don't want to think about that. It's like, face it.
Yeah.
Or avoid it as long as you can, but eventually you'll get to that point.
That's right. That's right, man. As we continue to evolve as a nation and the world, like, it's you got to jump on board with it though. If you're a business entrepreneur, you might say, oh, I hate social media. Well, unfortunately, most businesses need to be on social media. Yeah. Because of the fakeness in the world, right? The AI, people want to go on and they want to search to make sure that you're a real human being. Imagine where we are to where we have to go somewhere we don't want to be to prove that we are real, right? That's crazy in my mind. So yeah, social media is a thing that I don't like doing, but we do it because we have to, right? And so you might be completely against AI, but unfortunately, I think, almost every business is using it right now. And you'll fall behind the times of being able to expand and grow if you have a business.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I think like maybe to bring it all full circle with everything you're doing with Battle Worn, Battle Legacy and I think we were talking about this earlier, is that's where like the real value ultimately is going to be, is in this community. Like when you're, next to these people, what's the acronym? IRL, in real life.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's gonna, it's like almost foreign. Like, no, I sat down next to him. Like, look, it was a real conversation. It wasn't, cause it gets a little cloudy when you, like you said, you don't even know if this is a real person or a real video.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think the value of that is going to keep going up.
Yeah.
Is, when we can do things together as a community and as a society and a country.
Yeah. Yeah. Not to talking more about AI, but I know people right now that they create a character and that is their podcast, right? They're having communication, interaction remotely with an AI character and they just tell it what to say and that's their podcast. So good for you for having a real authentic podcast. So I'm proud of you.
Well, I remember a buddy has said this to me a while ago and it's kind of sad. He's like, yeah, man, I know like when I'm texting this buddy of mine, I'm like, I know it's not even him texting me back.
You know how you can tell is the dash mark.
Yeah, the M dash.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And people they haven't picked up on it yet.
Oh, that's like, do not use any M
Yeah,
dashes. It's because nobody types, nobody
yeah,
writes like that. But
yeah.
yeah, and I've been there sometimes, and I'm like, man, did they just like put my question into a chat bot and
That's all they
answer me?
did. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's going to be one of those. I mean, we're not going to be able to think for ourselves.
yeah.
And
It's scary because
yeah,
it will atrophy. We
yeah,
will stop thinking
for
because our
sure.
instinct will be, let me ask, like, don't let me strategically think about this.
Yeah. No, I pray for you and the next generation. You know, your children already. You know, because that's going to be tough, man. It's going to be a tough world to live in.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to end on that. So, what?
Let's bring some light to this.
Yeah. What else? Where can people go to find out about what you're doing? How can they support you? And is there anyone besides, volunteers or people that want to inquire, whether they're on the veteran first responder side or the battle worn legacy? Like, is there anyone in the community that you are looking for help from, or any way the community can help you guys out, support you?
Yeah. So, I mean, like it's twofold, right? So everything's important. It's a new business. So the more help we get, the better. On the Battle Worn Foundation side, which is the military first responders, obviously going to the website, donations are helping to send these men through, right? And the transformational period of the convergence is life changing, and I'm excited about what God's got in store in August for these men. So yeah, they can go to battlewornfoundation.org to be able to donate for those who want to support these men. And then if you have or still do serve in the military or as a first responder, we encourage you to apply. We want you to apply. So we want to meet you, we want to serve you, and we want to do the things that we feel like will give you that hope and that purpose. And for Battle Worn Legacy, that's battlewornlegacy.com. 2 different websites. And if you're an entrepreneur, executive leader, then we want you to apply there too, especially you. I expect you to do it.
I'll look into it.
No. I'm not going to leave until you fill it out before. So I want to make sure I stay here before.
Okay.
No, so go on there. The application is there, ready to go. You can find out way more information than what we talked about on the website. And we'll be in touch. It is a selection process, and not everybody that applies will be accepted. But we do want anybody and everybody that have that desire to have that brotherhood and fulfill that purpose and hope to go in there and fill out an application.
Well, I appreciate what you're doing. Appreciate you being open and vulnerable and sharing your story. And I think you're providing a lot of value for a lot of people.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you inviting me on.
Cool.
When we start our podcast, you'll be one of the first.
Let's go. I'm ready.
Are you ready? Okay. Yeah. We might have 5 people, but
let's do it. Yeah, it'll be fun. Yeah. Cool. Well, I'll put all the links to all the websites in these descriptions and get the word out.
Awesome, man. I appreciate your help and getting this out there to the public.
Perfect. Thanks, Trent.
Thank you, dude.
Thanks for listening, folks. You can find the full blog post for every episode along with key takeaways and links at mountain-mule.com. If you haven't yet, consider following the show. That one small action helps these Montana businesses get seen, grow, and thrive, and it helps this podcast keep going too. If you know a business that would be a good fit for the show, we'd love to hear from you. Just reach out through the website or social. Thank you for supporting these Montana businesses. See you on the next show.